It was really exciting to see Woody go out there tonight and have great stuff, to see his arm really turn around. It really showed 3 pitches, a very good fastball, a very good slider tonight, and a changeup, especially with the one left-hander they had out there. He showed the changeup. So I think really the only thing the only little mistake he made tonight was the drop at first base, and that really hurt us. Because if we get in the dugout right there, and what's really frustrating is we work on that so much, and I know it's going to kill Woody because he's a perfectionist and he works so hard on his defensive play. But those are the plays if you're gonna win at high level and win tournament play, you got to make those types of plays. But his overall performance I thought was great. Miles comes in, does a great job, fills up the strike zone, creates some movement. I think if he could have one pitch back, it'd be an 0-2 that was hitting the middle of the field. But outside of that, he was outstanding. Really created some sink, some tilt with his fastball, and we're going to need him to do that, especially against a club that has an 8-man right-handed lineup. I think he really salivates and gets excited when he sees all those right-handers stacked up on one club. And certainly we needed him to elongate his performance tonight because it's a 4-game set, and you really want to hold your bullpen intact. For the next 3 ball games.
What did you see in them that said, let's run tonight, or did you just come in planning to run regardless?
A bunch of right-handers, and they have a lot of young guys on their staff. So anytime you see a young guy on the mound, they're much more susceptible. In fact, late in the game, their second baseman made an unbelievable play in the middle of the field. He does the deal behind his back, and it keeps a runner at third base there. And I immediately turned to our student manager standing right next to me. I said, I haven't even looked at the roster. That guy's got to be a senior, and he was. You can just tell the game savvy of the kids who have been around and played, and he certainly, is an older kid, and you're going to run more against younger guys, and we kind of saw that they're going to throw a bunch of guys tonight, some younger guys, and felt like there was some availability there.
Made some changes in the lineup defensively, and boy, I think almost everybody kind of contributed tonight, whether it was in the lineup or defensively.
Yeah, I think
Jacob and then
the play Jacob makes just really is a special play, and that's what has to be special about our club. When we make a mistake on the mound, we got to have defenders in the outfield who can run and go get the ball, and that's exactly what happened. That's not an easy play. I don't know how many outfielders in our league could have made that play, and he made it look easier than it was. But that's what team baseball is. It's knowing that you can make a mistake on the mound and still have guys run it down in the outfield. And certainly that was a big time play. Reed playing third base for the first time for us in a real game. I thought he did a nice job. I'm sure he's a little jittery, a little nervous, and he'll move beyond that. But he's going to be a great player in our program, and we gotta keep involving him because he's really the future. He's going to be a great player.
Do you feel like Cohen's kind of making a step forward at shortstop for you, or is that still kind of unsettled?
Yeah, I think we're still, Britton's still a factor there, and for sure. I think both those guys are going to end up playing, but Kyle has done a great job, and we're evaluating during practice and during games, and Kyle, I think, has just earned opportunities to play shortstop. And he's a guy, he doesn't have tremendous power, but he can put the barrel there, he can move runners, he's a very good bunter. So by no stretch of the imagination have we given up on Britton. He's a guy who's going to play, and he'll play tomorrow, but we need to include Kyle Hahn because he's a really good player.
Against a bunch of new pitchers, you were able to get a lot of bases on balls, some patience to the plate, just work the count, and still some swing and miss, but it was better tonight.
Yeah, I thought we did a better job. I don't even know how many punch outs we had, but we had 4 punch outs, I guess. But yeah, we did a better job with that tonight. I thought we controlled the strike zone a little bit better, and I think what's happening, especially like Jake Bickerson early on, is taking huge swings, trying to, really not letting the game come to him. And I think gradually that's starting to happen for us, is we're letting the game offensively come to us instead of trying to force it to happen.
I think it was the 7th inning. West Ray came up with this guy on second, and he powered a ball out to right field, muscled it out there. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about, playing to your identity and
just
not
let
softball
it happen.
happening?
Yeah, when West gets big and really swings hard, it just doesn't happen for him. Down the stretch last year, he was so good because he just put the barrel, barrel placement's everything. When you go to effort, it just isn't going to happen. And, that's just a normal thing. I think a lot of clubs struggle with that early, because, especially in our league, because nobody's watching. All of a sudden, there's 4,000 or 5,000 people watching, and you want to show them how much improvement you made instead of just letting the game come to you. And I think we're starting to settle in. At least I hope we're starting to settle in and allow the game to come to us offensively.
Is there a difference also with CT? I mean, he's hitting balls back up the middle tonight again after kind of trying to pull everything the other night. And there's a big difference. He has a couple of hits tonight and has some big ones.
Yeah, CT's swung it well, and there's no doubt that we need him. You know, he's a senior on a club that lost some pretty good players last year, offensive players, so we need him to step forward. And, you know, he's also had good at-bats. He's had some walks, and he's had some HBPs. He's hung in there tough, and I got to go in there and see how his shoulder's doing. But, you know, he's doing everything he can to help our club win, and that's what a senior's got to do.
You're going to start with Fitz tomorrow. Any thoughts about
Yeah,
just going to let the game play and decide the
Yeah, I
second guy?
think for now we're going to start Fitz. We might switch him to the second game, but for now we're probably going to pitch Fitz, and it's going to depend a little bit on our catching situation, who's going to catch that first ball game with him. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. Collins, I thought, was brilliant tonight for a freshman, you know, who's really starting, I guess, his third game at the Division I level. I mean, that's a high level. It's a high level performance from a young baseball player, and I think, you know, like Reed and Humphreys, he is going to be a great player.
I don't know if you'd admit this, John, but is he looking in the dugout or is it his game behind the plate with Gavin? Is it
tonight?
To call it, yeah.
Yeah, he spent so much time with Coach Thompson. You talking about calling pitches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting through.
Yeah, he spent so much time with Coach Thompson. I think he's really in tune, which is really very difficult for a freshman to do, but he's really come along nicely.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you, guys.
Thanks, John.